Food delivery drivers. Have you ever delivered to someone who had no idea who you really were? I'm a retired Fortune 500 CEO who delivers pizza for fun. And last week, I accidentally saved a failing restaurant using skills they thought came from my uncle in Chicago. After selling my tech company and retiring at 52, I got bored sitting around the house counting money. My wife suggested volunteering, but I wanted something more interactive. Started delivering for Tony's Pizza 3 nights a week just to stay active, meet real people, and remember what working feels like. Most customers see the red uniform and think I'm struggling financially, which is perfectly fine by me. I've learned more about my community in 6 months of pizza delivery than in 20 years of corporate boardrooms and country club dinners. Last Saturday evening, I delivered 2 large pepperonis to this small family restaurant called Mama Rosa's on the old side of town. The owner, Giuseppe, looked exhausted and stressed when he answered the door. While he searched for cash to tip me, I couldn't help but overhear his phone conversation with what sounded like his landlord. "Please, Mr. Davidson, just 1 more month," Giuseppe was saying. "I know we're 3 months behind, but the holidays are coming. Business always picks up in December." Giuseppe hung up and apologized for the wait. His hands were shaking as he counted out bills for the tip. "Sorry about that," he said. "Family business problems. 30 years we've been here, but it's getting harder every year." I asked what was happening, and Giuseppe, desperate for someone to understand his struggles, opened up completely. Food costs had risen 40% since the pandemic, but he couldn't raise menu prices because customers would just drive 5 minutes to Olive Garden or Applebee's instead. "We're losing money on every meal," he explained. "But if I change the prices, we lose the customers. Can't win either way." I recognized this immediately. The classic small business death spiral I'd seen dozens of times in my consulting days before starting my tech company. But Giuseppe just saw a pizza delivery guy, so I had to be careful how I approached this. "Mind if I ask what your food costs are running?" I said casually. "My Uncle Tony owns a restaurant in Chicago, always complaining about margins and talking my ear off about the business." Giuseppe showed me his books right there on the kitchen table. Food costs were 47% of revenue, should be 28 to 32% maximum. His menu hadn't changed since 1995, featuring 40 different dishes that required extensive prep work, but were priced like it was still the Clinton administration. I suggested he try what my Uncle Tony had done, focus on 6 to 8 signature dishes instead of 40, pre-prep components during slow periods, and price them properly for current costs. Also mentioned that customers pay premium prices for authenticity and quality, not quantity of options. "You sound like you really know the restaurant business," Giuseppe said, studying me carefully. "Uncle Tony made me work summers in his kitchen through high school and college," I replied, collecting my insulated delivery bag. Learned more about business from him than I did in school. 2 months later, I delivered to the same address. The restaurant was packed with a 45-minute wait. Giuseppe looked like a different person, and there was actually a line of people outside waiting for tables. Giuseppe recognized me immediately and insisted I stay for dinner. "Pizza delivery guy, your suggestions completely saved our business." He'd cut his menu to 8 traditional Italian dishes, raised prices 20%, and was actually making profit for the first time in 3 years. "How did you know so much about restaurant management?" he asked as his wife brought out complimentary wine. I just smiled and raised my glass. "Uncle Tony taught me well. He always said the best business advice comes from people who've actually done the work." Giuseppe introduced me to his family as the pizza man who saved our restaurant. They had no idea they were serving dinner to someone who'd once operated a 200-location restaurant chain across 12 states before moving into tech. Sometimes the most valuable expertise comes disguised as casual conversation from unexpected sources.